Well, in prepared remarks, Treasury Secretary Yellen has said the government is willing to backstop more deposits if smaller banks start to flounder. She defended the Treasury's intervention earlier this month in the wake of Silicon Valley Bank's collapse. She will make her full comments on these topics due at 10 a.m., Brad. And, kind of came out again. There is this coordinated effort seemingly by regulators, right. Treasury, FDIC, Federal Reserve, the message being, we gotcha.
Right.
The market has believed that in fits and starts, but it seems to believe it today.
Yeah, we got y'all, as Issa Rae would say in Insecure on HBO. At the end of the day, one of the things that they did put within the statement, or at least Treasury Secretary Yellen did, our intervention was necessary to protect the broader U.S. banking system. Similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions as well suffered deposit runs, and that pose a risk of contagion. And when you think about what a deposit run looks like, look no further than what we saw with First Republic. They had $70 billion worth of deposits pulled from the bank, 40% of the total deposits. That's according to the Wall Street Journal reporting that had come out. And Yellen, for what they added within the statement from the Treasury side, I believe that our actions reduce the risk of further bank failures here, which is something it will be interesting to see if the Fed addresses that within their own commentary, their discussion, and within the ultimate decision once we get some of the commentary around that.
Yeah, so that's sort of that portion of it. Then you have the FDIC reportedly considering raising that cap on insurance, deposit insurance above $250,000. It is a move that some in Congress, particularly Republicans in Congress, oppose. So we'll see if it does end up gaining any traction. I mean, right now, you effectively have an implicit guarantee because of what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. But the question is, will the FDIC make it explicit? Will they extend it to other depositors as well? And I guess it depends on, we keep saying if it's necessary, if this contagion grows. We haven't necessarily seen evidence of a deposit flight that is widespread.
Right.
But it's also difficult to tell what's going on inside some of these banks.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. And I think for some of the banks that have kind of formed this consortium to invest $30 billion into First Republic, they're also trying to put their best minds forward to say, okay, here are some of the solutions that we can help craft to get you to the other side of this as well. JP Morgan, one of those, of course, that has been involved within those conversations. So that particularly is going to be of interest to see where they move forward in those discussions as well.
Yeah, and just once again, to put a fine point on what we're seeing in First Republic, which I think is a pretty extraordinary part of all of this, with reportedly Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan once again spearheading the push to help the bank and seeing it surge this morning. PacWest and Western Alliance extending some of their gains from yesterday. And I guess the question becomes, is it just deposits or does it become something more in terms of aid from the other banks? I don't think we have the answer to that question yet. Right. And again, will it even be necessary? We don't know yet. But there's a lot being thrown at these issues.
Absolutely.